everyone, and welcome to another edition of Crew Travel right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Rhea. I am your host, and I'm very pleased to welcome back my co-host, Rhea. How you doing?
Yeah, very good. Yep, not too bad at all for a Tuesday. So, just catching up on what was happening at the Antigua Yacht Show last week, which apparently seems to have been quite a good one.
Yeah, I heard back from quite a few people. They say it was fought. Like, yeah, sweltering heat that they were dealing with there. So I can imagine it wasn't a very comfortable yacht show, but by all accounts and purposes, a lot of business done and a lot of people attended.
Yeah, you know, I've been talking to our very own Fran who works at ATPI, who went out to the Antigua Yacht Show, and she really did sing its praises and sort of said how good it was. It's one of the best ones she's been to.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I followed that show for quite a few years, and I think this year is literally the first year that there was no way that you could even buy your way into that show. It was so popular this year.
Yeah, it seems to have been. So, yep, good. Congratulations to everybody who was involved in making it such a success.
Right. Heading on to this week's travel news, Filipino crew have something to celebrate.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So in major news for the Filipino crew, Air France has restored its direct connection to the Philippines. That's because they've resumed flights between Paris and Manila for the first time in 2 decades. The inaugural flight relaunched route from the French flag carrier's hub at Charlesville Airport to Manila Airport operated over the weekend and was welcomed by a sizable delegation at its destination in the Philippines. As detailed by a statement published by Air France when it announced the route's resumption early this year, the Sky Team member will operate direct non-stop flights between Paris and Manila on a thrice weekly basis. It will fly out on Mondays, Wednesdays and Saturdays, and returning on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays. And services will be operated by Air France's free-class Airbus A350.
Wonderful. And, of course, the thing we were all dreading last week, well, not sure we all, but people were dreading last week, the strike action happening in Edinburgh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so last week we brought you the news of a potential strike happening at Edinburgh, which unfortunately has now been confirmed in the last 24 hours. Fuel tanker drivers who supply the fuel to the aircraft are set to strike for 19 consecutive days over the festive period. The walkout is due to start at 5 a.m. on December the 19th and will continue all the way through until the early morning of January the 6th. The union warned last week that the employer, Norfair, had to make an improved pay offer if strike action was to be avoided over the Christmas and New Year period. However, the company has refused to re-enter pay negotiations after the drivers rejected a 4.5% pay offer following years of below-inflation pay increases. Unfortunately, the strike action has come to fruition.
But I have a feeling that when I speak to you next week, we might actually hear about more strike action. It's the season for holidays, vacations, and strikes.
Yeah, it's going to ramp up. I think you're probably right. I think there'll probably be more strike action on the horizon next week.
And heading over to American Airlines. What's going on there?
Yeah, American Airlines have been criticized after reportedly informing its flight attendants of its intention to lower the minimum flight attendant staffing requirements on their new Boeing 787 Dreamliner aircraft. The news comes as the carrier is working on rolling out a new premium layout on select planes. The union representing the carrier's flight attendants appears to be unhappy with the decision to reduce the minimum staffing mandate, calling it unrealistic and unsafe. As American Airlines seeks clarification from the Federal Aviation Authority, the APFA will not take part in the process, citing its non-negotiable safety, workload and working conditions. The union leaders told members to voice their concerns to American's management. APFA categorically rejects the changes to the minimum crew requirement on the new 787, the union explained. They will not participate in the certification process for these changes. However, they will attend to represent our members' interests and ensure the FAA and all interested parties are aware of the safety concerns surrounding the proposed staffing on this new aircraft configuration.
And if it doesn't work out according to the crew, strike action.
It's crazy. I mean, at the moment, the minimum staffing requirement is 9 crew on board a 787. In emergencies, they can go down to 8, but American want to lower it to 7, which is, it baffles me slightly, especially when you've got like the increase in turbulence and things like that, which could quite feasibly incapacitate, a crew member at any point if they hit bad turbulence. And then to want to lower it to 7, that does seem a slightly odd decision.
Well, gotta line those CEO pockets.
Indeed.
Right. And we have a crew question this week. What's that one?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, quite timely one. So Sandrine has sent in an email asking if we at ATPI have any tips for traveling at Christmas. Well, obviously we certainly do, Sandrine. And what I've done is I've put together basically the top 5 tips. So go through these. If these work for you, Sandrine, great. So take what you can from these. Number 5, I would say, is to book flights as early as possible now. We are getting quite close to, obviously, the holiday season. And if you see a good price, book it. Don't wait, because they're just going one way. This last week, I've been working on flights for the Christmas period. Prices are sky high already. So yeah, if you see a good price, book it. Number 4, allow plenty of time for your journey. And when I say that, I don't just mean when you get to the airport or what time you arrive at the airport. Obviously, holiday period, you've got to have to remember that roads, trains, and public transport will all be busier the closer to Christmas you travel. Number 3, I would say, is probably to consider alternative airports. For example, New York is a hot destination at Christmas for crew and the public to relax and rewind. Now, when looking at flights to New York, for example, don't fixate on JFK Airport as it's the main one. You are likely to find better fares if you are happy to fly into LaGuardia or Newark around this time. It may mean a 20 to 30-minute travel time once you land, but it could also save you hundreds of dollars. Number 2 is travel earlier in the day whenever possible. Traveling earlier in the day will mean you'll find often cheaper flights, and it also will mean that you will avoid sometimes lengthy delays that can build up throughout the day in a snowball effect, especially when we talk about things like strikes that could happen. The earlier flights are the ones that tend to travel more regularly. And finally, the last one, be careful with gift-wrapped presents. It sounds a bit strange when you're talking about flights, but it's actually really important. So again, the important point to consider is that it's often overlooked, and it involves traveling with gifts and presents for other people. Now, those of us who are super organized might be tempted to get all of our gift wrapping done before we head off on our travels, but that could actually create a problem when it comes to going through airport security.
Yeah, I just send money.
Yeah, I think it's easier. The issue there is that if they don't know what it is, and if that card doesn't come up on the scanner, then they're just going to take off your paper, your wrapping paper, and you're going to have to do it again. So I would probably say you're best to wait to wrap your presents when you get the other side, not before you get due to travel.
Oh, we live in such a global world now. It's hard to imagine that there's something you can buy, say, for example, Dubai, that you can't buy in, Wisconsin for that matter. It's that kind of world, or order on Amazon, dare I say it. But the costs of baggage and the costs of shipping these things and the headache of carrying them across countries and across the planet, it's a lot.
It is, yeah. And you don't want to get caught out either. Obviously, you've got to remember as well, you'll have customs to go through as well. So depending on what it is you've bought and the value as well, it may be that you have to declare it and pay tax on that as well. So there's lots of things to remember if you are traveling with gifts.
Anyways, Lee, I want to say thank you once again, and will we see you here next Tuesday?
Indeed, be here next Tuesday.
Right, and then I think we're going to take a week off.
Well, I think that'll be Christmas Eve. I think the next one, I think we'll probably do a week off, aren't we?
Yeah. I think actually, to be honest, I'm going to take an entire week off this year.
Indeed, yeah, definitely. Enjoy it.
Well, I just decided, I work a lot, and I've got other things I want to do, I don't know, breathe.
I think you deserve it, Rhea. So yeah, make sure you enjoy it.
Thank you, darling. All right. I want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in. And just to let you know, if you have any questions for Lee Harris, please do check below this interview when it airs, because all his information will be listed. If you're looking to book any flights, of course, contact Lee. You've been listening to another edition of Crew Travel right here on Yachting International Radio. On behalf of myself and Lee Harris from ATPI Travel, we will see you again next week.